they're not against that damn Viper again, right? Like, it shouldn't be as dominant, as lane dominant. And in fact, you know, considering you do have the Brood, you kind of expect to be the dominant one. So see how it pans out. I appreciate the fact that they do go for the Mars pick anyway to kind of counter out that Brood, because one nice God's Rebuke and suddenly all the Spiderlings just die. I don't think the Prophet's going to suffer too much either against the Broodmother, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, look at this move.
Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. A bit of a wraparound already from Wildcard. They do see 9. Sammy's going to have his smoke broken. Ping's coming out here from 9, but he's not backing off in time. Nature's Grasp is there. Arrow is not going to connect, but they should be able to dive, and they will. Arc secures the kill. That's a perfect start here for Wildcard, handing the POS 1 the first blood gold. And of all heroes for it to be on, it's a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, you're just going to feel great now for Arc. I mean, he already has that Blightstone. He's going to be able to just right-click through just fine in that lane, get his last hits, get his farm, and pretty good harassment out as well. Going to be fairly annoying for the side of Thiuth to gap close onto him. The one thing with Broodmother, in most lane matchups, you don't feel the best up against something like the NP, it feels like, because you can just run, and they're keeping that aggression on Wildcard.
Arrow, Lamey! Oh, he doesn't see it! Sunlight has the rebuke, tips out.
Oh, boy.
That is really rough. And you know it's rough when Sammy's not the one tipping.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's not even tipping at all. You know, he's waiting for that perfect moment, and they get the... He's using voice lines, though. Rough start for Thiuth already. Again, these first 2 kills, maybe not the biggest deals in the world, but giving these kinds of starts out to a team that, like Wildcard, that did just have a really good game against you, it doesn't set a good tone. And again, we've got to see what Thiuth can do from these side lanes, because it does feel like you get this Broodmother out from Napkin, you want it to really start to apply pressure. That tends to shine by level 3, level 4 on the Brood. I don't know if Afromush has enough room to really be effective in the sky, though. They haven't cut the tree line. Sammy has an angle to just work around, jump into Afro, and make it awkward.
Yeah. Well, have a look at this mid lane. Babbage having a very good time. It's currently 4-0. Against the Tusk, should be a very, very even kind of matchup here between these two. Of course, we did glance at the top lane as well. Napkin has a lot of pressure on him on this Broodmother this game to really dominate the map as much as humanly possible. Again, you and Fear both pointed out the fact that with the Broodmother and the Slark, it's going to be a bit problematic trying to find enough farm, which is why I think Napkin's got to get off to an amazing start. Because if he gets an amazing start, he just takes the other side of the map, lets the Slark farm safely on their side of the map, and that way Wildcard just kind of get pushed into a corner where they've got no farm going and they just escalate net worth on the side of Thiuth. But we are speaking into the future now. I mean, it's a long time till we see that.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. And so far, Napkin is doing a pretty decent job of at least just getting his own farm up. Arc's not able to really get as much done. And funny enough, there's some counter synergy with what Sammy would want to do. He does take away the tree line that the Treant would be very comfy with trading hits in and trying to jump Afromush. So he still manages to get a good career snipe at the very least, taking away some regen on Afromush, so he can harass a lot better. The one thing though is Napkin is fairly durable in the web, although once you do get the Blightstone buff up, Sammy can do a ton of damage. That is something you have to watch out for and kind of just zone them out just a little bit. As long as Sammy doesn't get to fall through, you can hold this lane fine and Napkin.
Certainly so. That bot lane as well. Like you can, oh, Arrow, not going to land this time. Flea just going for the range creep. It's a bit of a rough affair here for Lamey and 9 though. Like against the Mars Mirana, it doesn't feel like there's much a CM can do. And you get caught by a rogue arrow or a rogue spear, the CM's just as good as dead. You know, 9 is doing a decent job of just securing range creeps for his Slark. But apart from that, it does feel like for 9, his options are kind of limited here.
Yeah, there's just not too much play with the CM Slark lane. You theoretically can get aggressive, slow into Pounce, then just follow up control with Frostbite. You can kind of run from there or just use Frostbite to set up.
Top lane, Sammy, may just drop and does. Napkin really enjoys that, and there you go, Napkin. I was waiting for it. Napkin, no hesitation.
Yeah, they've got to tip back. You know, we talk about it in game 1. If you find that kill on Sammy, yeah, you send it right back. That's what you have to do. But then that question's still there, Mike. Maybe Sammy just wants that, you know? Maybe he enjoys getting tipped because he's going to tip harder, you know? He's going to all chat at some point, use the voice lines.
I think somewhere inside Sammy's soul, he really likes it. I think he's a bit of a masochist, this man.
He's just a bit off kilter, Sammy, you know? We love him, but There's something up with that guy, dude. There really is.
Oh, you gotta love it though. Mid lane, bit of aggression coming out. Esk trying to chase down Babbage. There is going to be a rotation now from Afro. Arrow is way off the mark, just trying to zone them out. Babbage still running, very low on mana. Will stick charge and Fairy Fire up, and it's still not enough. Afro, able to secure the kill. Sammy, at the very least, is going to be able to take the water rune away here from Esk. Still, though, nice trades happening across the map for Thiuth.
And that's exactly what the lineup needs to do. Capitalize on the Tusk, kind of just get the kill opportunities out with his hero, which is your primary burst with your supports, and get off to that strong start. Babbage is sort of struggling in that lane matchup, which again, we have seen Tusk kind of win out on for the most part. So it's going to be a little bit longer for him to get that initial defusal, start making some action on the map. And it's harder for them to connect onto Babbage. You've got Mirana plus Treant. It's not exactly the best, especially since you don't have setup for the Mirana to just get the arrow off. And they've got really good defensive wards here from Thiuth to watch Flea's movement.
I thought they were going to make a jump on Sunlight there for a moment. They had the Frostbite set up, but I suppose underneath the tier 1 tower, the Mars is just a little bit too tanky to try and dive into. Meanwhile, top lane, Arc, he is not so tanky right now on that Prophet. He is trying to fight back against Napkin, but it's looking pretty rough as Afro will continue chasing him down and eventually finds the kill. Sammy's trying to trade, but the Fairy Fire is going to give enough HP. Though Sammy, he'll go for a time in with the Leaf Cheat now. I don't know about this, Sammy. Afro is still running. Sammy, oh, Sammy, he'll get the kill. It's going to cost his life. I mean, he gets it.
He gets it. You know, you find a trade that it's a lot of EXP for Napkin though. And that's the one concern. Napkin is going to have his level 6 up. He's going to be able to hold that top lane, invade the jungle. Napkin's done a fantastic job to just get on top of Arc and just ensure that Sammy's not there to follow through. And it's very vulnerable, the NP at this moment in the game. It just doesn't have much to protect itself from all of this physical output and the missed chances that Napkin is pumping out.
Babbage, Rolling Thunder, immediate silence. Afro there, ready to protect the day. Esk trying, shield crash, not enough. Another nice kill onto Babbage. Afro's been very good in this mid lane, just hanging around, making life a living hell for this mid Pango, and really setting up Esk on this mid Tusk.
Yeah, again, just playing off the hero that they really want to enable, that has all of that initial burst and presence out. And they've done a pretty damn good job on Thiuth to get all of their lanes going. Maybe the bot lane's not as hot for Lamey, but certainly that top lane for Napkin, the mid lane for Esk, has shaped up well. And that is the foundation for them. Like now, with this potential of the Brood invading that top jungle, if this momentum maintains, and with the damage output of Esk and his supports, you can buy space out for Lamey to just build up. We've got to see whether or not Wildcard can take the initiative at some point. They've got the role already in Babbage, but he hasn't really shown up anywhere just yet.
No, certainly not. Though he is running up top. Looks like he wants to try and address this this Broodmother for a moment. Napkin. Gonna try and chase down Sammy. Babbage is just around the corner. We'll jump in with a swash into the shield crash, but the silence again. Afro. Just so quick. Not allowing the follow-up from Babbage. And that's a rotation from our Pango that it doesn't really mean a lot, right? Like, you can farm, I suppose, this top lane, but well, that's about it. Seems like he'll give Arc the mid lane instead.
And Arc's just suffering. He is way behind in comparison to Lamey's farm now. And that's not really what you want to see from NP. It can flash farm fairly quick, but now you're going to have to buy space for him as well. And again, that just gives some room for Thiuth to play this early to mid game, where their lineup can really shine. We're almost at the point where Afro will get level 6 as well. And then he can just really tie in with Esk and melt people.
9. Chase down. Flea just going for it on his own. 9's really copping it though. A nice Frostbite has actually connected. And Flea will go down. Now the pounce out Lamey. He wants to try and punish Sunlight. Sunlight's okay to back. In the meantime, a smoke happening topside as well. Afro and Esk might find Babbage. No, they run the other way. They want that Treant, that Nature's Prophet. Arc, silenced up. Afro is giving them nothing. Great combos here from Esk and Afro. Even topside, Sammy's being chased down by the Spider. You do have Babbage around, but he's got no mana for the Rolling Thunder. And it doesn't seem like he wants to bother against the Brood anyway.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too durable now with the max level webs on top and with how mobile it is. Very hard to just lock in. This is a concerning game now for Arc. I mean, he's still trying to go for that Midas. The timing is going to be way off. Like, it's going to be a stalled out timing. You can still recover in that Nature's Prophet. It is a hero that flash farms, I'd say, a lot faster than the Slark. So you have room to recover, but this window for Thiuth just feels so massive now. You've got to be careful on Wildcard of bleeding out too much.
Bottom. They've got Flea again. Flea's got one leap charge. In fact, make that another. Lamey's still chasing him down, but he's at a pounce. Level 1 pounce, pretty long cooldown. Flea will just TP up behind the tree line. But 7-4, still a very slight net worth lead the way of Wildcard, but again, considering how game 1 went, you've got to be pretty happy as Thiuth.
Yeah, it's a good bounce back for Thiuth. You know, they've got a lot of early presence here. They're playing their draft really well. Bot is being shoved in with Arc around. Sunlight does have the arena. We haven't seen that come out from him yet.
Problem is, though, the silence out again. Afro. He is all over the place. It's the dynamic duo here of Afro and Esk. Constantly rotating around together, and it's really paying off for Thiuth.
It's just going to be painful for Wildcard until they get some BKBs up. Like, just, again, play with this burst. You get Tusk out, you get Sky out. You don't really need 9 around as long as you've got them. These two together, and you just melt these heroes. You buy space out. Napkin's taking the top tier 1. He's invading that jungle as you'd expect. And you have so much room to just play the spec off game. Wildcard still has a really good team fight, but they're not able to use it with how the ganks are coming out from Thiuth here. They just don't have that opportunity for a bigger team fight.
Certainly not. Not quite yet anyway. Top 2 net worths are Napkin and, of course, Eskin. That's a good sign here for Thiuth. There goes that bottom tier 1 tower. Arc actually allowed to take it out by himself with those treants, so happy days for him. But again, like you mentioned, Wildcard kind of backs against the wall right now. Don't really have too many options for themselves, and here we go again. Esk and Afro. Smoking up. They'll rotate down. They'd love to find Arc another time. Arc's already died twice this game. Does he have the game sense to back off? In fact, never mind. They're going to head up north instead. Rotate back into that mid lane. Set up for a mid tier 1 tower. Babidich and Flea are around the corner. Naturally, you'd prefer to go after Babidich if you can. Deep Ward's placed behind that tier 1, setting up for that future team fight. And Wildcard, they'll have no idea.
Just farming safely, though. They know something's up when they don't see that Sky and the Tusk.
Oh, hold on a minute. Top lane. Napkin has been caught. Arena with the spear will land. Arrow to follow up as well. They should have enough damage, but that is a tanky Broodmother. Eventually she does drop.
Just very durable. And Wildcard does not really have a lineup that bursts that well. So that is one thing that is making it challenging to find these kills. They at least managed to get a successful arena. Immediate smoke right after as well. Looking to swing. They still have that Rolling Thunder if they find the lineup.
Oh, Esk, he used the snowball. Grass will be there, but does have that invisibility rune available, so Esk is going to be okay. Wildcard still grouped up. Flea on the front lines needs to be very cautious. He does get frostbitten up. Esk, though, not looking to move in quite yet. We'll just force a leap charge. Wildcard's certainly the ones looking to be much more cautious this game as Thiuth still having a look around for another target, but won't find what they wanted. Babidich is recovering quite well in the meantime here on the Pango, by the way. Johnny's top of the net worth board now, considering the start he's had. That is very good news for Wildcard.
Yeah, they can play off the back of this full diffusal already flying up, set up with the inhibit a little bit more for the rolls. And they're also, you know, starting to recover really well in Arc. He's got the Midas, so he can start to shape up into the Maelstrom and keep that farm game going. As this game drags out, the NP is going to feel stronger and stronger. The level 20 talent down the line, good way to deal with the Slark. They have spotted Flea.
They will. Flea gonna try and turn around with the Moonlight Shadow, but they do have the Sentry Ward down. 9 turning back around, looking for a Frostbite attempt, but may have just sacked his own life, and does. Not expecting the whole team to be right behind Flea. He does get punished. They do try to apply a little bit of pressure in that mid lane, but Sammy's going to be there to defend it.
Yeah, and that's the one thing for Wildcard. It's very easy for them to hold on to mid unless a full invasion comes out from Thiuth, just because you've got the Treant Protector. You've got the NP who can always shove it in as well. Sunlight looking for an angle here.
They've got the arena. Oop, God's Rebuke misses. Napkin doesn't seem to have realized. Or maybe he does. Maybe he's just baiting for Afro to move in. Still the Mars will survive a little bit longer, and here comes that Arena. He's got two of them in there. He'll get the Skyrath. He'll leave the Brood for now. Let Arc come in. In fact, they'll just let him go. Because 9, he's going to be there to back up Napkin. Flea has leap charges. Rolling Thunder is flying in as well from the side. Napkin may have stuck around too long. Here comes the cavalry though, Esk, and now the freezing field making it very hard. The Walrus Punch though, it never comes out. Arc is still walking away. Flea does go down, but Esk, he's in big trouble. Sprout is out. He will cut his way through, but it should not matter. Or does it? Arc, oh no. That miss, the miss on the swashbuckle, it's gonna cost them so much. Babbage trying to run, but Napkin trying for the chase. Can he find him? Shield Crash is there, swashbuckle away, but it's still a massive team fight win for Thiuth.
They worked that one out so well. They just bait in Sunlight. The move to kill Aframoosh, it might have cost them. If they managed to pin down Napkin, take away that Silicon Bowl in these fights, you would have had a better time for Arc overall, and they just managed to punish really well. They collapsed on top. They still had a tier 1 tower to kind of group up and respond in that fight. Napkin's still hanging around here, though.
Yeah, they've got the Diffusal Blade now, and that's going to make it much harder for Napkin to try and run out of this. Arrows off the mark. Napkin's still running. Swash is off the mark again. Napkin, I think he's fine. Sunlight, can he reach? He hasn't got anything like a blink up, so he's hoping for a spear from a mile away, and it's not going to happen.
It's rough. Like, Napkin has just managed to slip out multiple times, and that's him.
Oh, bottom. Arc. I mean, in the meantime, Esk and Afro, they are still rotating across the map. They'll find a great kill on that Prophet.
It's just so much more activity out from Thiuth. Wildcard are trying to bring it in, but they need these items to be up. They need a BKB. They need a blink on Babatich to make it easier to chase down. And until that point, Thiuth still has easier angles to take. They at least find a tier 1 top.
Arena down. They've got the Broodmother trapped up. 9, he's going to be there with the freezing field to zone them out. Sunlight tries for a TP, but the Frostbite is just going to lock him down. And Napkin continues to taunt them with the voice lines. Esk, he does also find Samson in the meantime. Another kill across the map. Things looking very rough for Wildcard so far.
Yeah, it's just tougher. And Thiuth are just so much stronger at this point. They've got everything they could need to force these fights. They've got so much single target pickoff that if Wildcard just don't execute as a team, this lineup just gets run down. Like, they can't focus in on Napkin. He's too durable. He's going to have the full Guardian Greaves up as well. Self-Dispel and had it going to be massive. They tried to jump Flea.
Sammy's going to rotate. You do have Overgrowth once that silence wears off. Looks like he wants to try and go after Afro, but he needs the backup and won't bother popping it. I think Wildcard just want the space right now. They just want time.
Yeah, and they are getting some time out. You know, Arc is farming fairly well. Number 2 in net worth, managing to catch up. Getting the investment back on the Midas, has the Maelstrom flying in now. So they've got ways to clear out, just prevent that split push coming out from Napkin. They still have the wave clear. They've got the blink finally up on Babatich. So you do have a good way of jumping in now. I think ideally you'd want the blink up in Sunlight as well, but it's kind of useless without the BKB. You just have to wait for 2,000 more gold until you're ready to really go with that Mars Arena initiation. Still, you are smoked up here, and that blink reveal from Babatich is going to be a big siren call for Wildcard to kind of group around with. And even Arc is about to be ready. Once you have these BKBs up, you are set to go.
Arena committed. They just want 9. They want to make sure they get everything they can right now. I thought mid lane, maybe they apply a bit of pressure, but Sammy's there to defend, though I say that. Afro going to move in with the concussive shot. Shards, they are on the mark. Mystic Flare not proving to be enough damage. Sammy barely going to survive. And Eski won't try to even dive in. He'll leave it be.
Yeah, and I think the one concern right now for Thiuth is the fact that they got all this aggression out. They kind of shut out the top jungle, although there is still good control from Wildcard there. The mid-tier one still standing, I think, at 18 minutes is a bit of a touchy point. That's just enabling this farm to come out from Arc, from Babatich, from Sunlight. While that mid-tier one stands, it's a little bit more awkward to invade that rear part of the top jungle. And while that stands, you still have a steady flow of gold. Wildcard are still allowed to hit these item beats, where Thiuth again, these BKBs will just remove Afromush as a factor. Like, you are not going to care about the sky as much. You're not going to care even about the ways that Napkin has of slowing down your output with the Silken Bola. You can just run them down at that point with the initiation. You can clear out these spiderlings. You can retake your jungle. And Thiuth, that is a mild concern. They maintain a lead, but it's a really close game. Look, you look at that net worth distribution graph, it's rather even top to bottom across the course.
It certainly is. A much more even game than last time around. That's for sure, and that's what we love to see. Top side, they've got the Mars. They did drop that Mystic Flare. S jumps in, but the arena is out. Sunlight, he's perfectly fine. Is now Napkin trapped between a rock and a hard place. They even land the spear onto the Tusk now, and it's a lot of damage flying in onto the side of Thiuth. This is not the fight they wanted. Lamey needs to run. Do they have a stun? No, they do not. He will barely survive, but the rest of his team, they do fall apart. At least two of them do, but they're both cores. Your mid and your off lane are going down, and now Wildcard, they can start to pressure the map a little bit.
It's just that timing. BKB plus Blink, Bapadich can just find a way to go on top. He manages to get the roll going on Lamey while Shadow Dance was there. So it just interrupted this moment for him where he could have focused in on Arc. And now Wildcard's the one to go for the mid-tier 1 first. They were the ones behind. They're going to be able to get some good map control, maybe invade that bot jungle, cut off the triangle, find an angle into that area to just prevent the farm game from happening for Thiuth, and now they come out with a 2k lead. For Thiuth, they still have power left, but this is the point where you might ask yourself, do you really have enough team fight? Because you've got this off-lane Brood, you've got single target supports, for the most part, you know, Freezing Field's there, but you're not going to be able to reliably channel it for 9. You just don't have anything to set up to hold these heroes down, to fight them in their own 5v5.
And this is starting to be the point as well, where a lot of your burst damage being the Skywrath Mage doesn't feel like it does anything, right? Because the BKBs are starting to come out. You saw it on Sunlight, he just pops his BKB through the Mystic Flare. Doesn't care whatsoever anymore. Gets the arena off. Speaking of BKBs though, very nice timing here for Lamey. He does have his own. Problem is he's not with his team right now, so can't really use it effectively as he would like to, I'm sure. There is going to be a smoke up top side. Thiuth looking for somebody. Sunlight seemingly reading the map movement very, very well. Has drawn out the line as to where they are. And for now, at the very least, won't get caught out, though does show himself at the top lane. Instead, though, Thiuth will rotate it down to the mid lane. But Wildcard, they're the ones to pop a smoke. They see Afro, but they want S. They want the Tusk. That mid-Tusk, so tasty. Is 9. Also getting caught out here by Babbage, and they've even got the Skywrath trapped in a corner. Afro's got nowhere to go. Arena down. They've got Napkin on that Broodmother. Speared up to the walls of the arena. Nowhere for Napkin to run. They even root him up with the Shards of Sammy. 3 down once again for Thiuth, and it's such a shame after such an amazing start. They are slowly falling apart.
Yeah, it's just this timing for Wildcard. Like a couple of BKBs to protect their cores, and your magical burst, as you mentioned, it's gone. Your Skywrath Mage does nothing.
Of course, it does give us a second as well, Jonathan, to bring up the betting odds from our betting partners, of course, esportsbet.io. Did you happen to have the betting odds? I think I do have them on me here, maybe?
I didn't manage to glimpse. I expect it's a little bit closer, maybe something like, I'm going to do a guessing game. Maybe around 1.4, I'm going to guess. I didn't quite see it.
There you go. Well, if you wanted to know, esportsbet.io. There you go.
Yeah. It's... I mean, Wildcard's favorite. You know, Thiuth has had a rougher time. It's been a little bit harder for them to look for those wins. And Wildcard have maybe been less consistent than a lot of other teams, but they're still up there. These are still really strong players coming out, and they are going for a smoke play now.
Oh, they love Napkin. They remember the voice lines. They remember the tips. They will remember Napkin to die every time they see him. Any tips? No, they'll hold out.
Yeah, Sammy doesn't even bother. Just save it for bigger mind moments, bigger value moments to demoralize the enemy team.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sunlight, I mean, he's a pretty tanky boy. Like, he's got his BKB still available. He goes Arc, and he forces the Shadow Dance.
Yeah, that's really preemptive coming out from Lamey. He's not going to be comfy joining any fights. That's a big opportunity for them to look for the Roshan here. And without BKB on Lamy, it doesn't feel like a fight you'd really even try to contest.
Mid lane, Flea at least does get caught out, so Thiuth do find something for their trouble. In fact, that was a gem handed back their way. So there you go. A bit of a donation here from Wildcard. Not too bad. Of course, you are going to lose Roshan for this, but at least you get a little bit of compensation for your trouble.
I'd say the gem is actually a good trade-off, because you're up against the Mirana. You're going to be able to maybe spot out some of their forward wards, which they will want to use with Moonlight Shadow. So it's going to take away a lot of information Wildcard need for these successful ganks, and just makes it a little bit tougher for them to be kind of sneaky with the Moonlight. So it's not the worst trade in the world. That's like 900 gold you got back for losing Roshan. It's pretty all right, as long as you can play around with that. So we'll see if Thiuth can kind of maximize that. Still, Wildcard are scaling more and more. Gleipnir fully up now on Arc. So they've got more control, they've got more routes, they've got more ways to keep these heroes down. And you've already got the Lotus Orb up on Bapetich, so he doesn't care for the Skyrat Silence even without a BKB. He's going to be able to just stand his ground, get the damage out, and he is working towards the Basher to have that extra hold for Lamy down the line.
Oh, 9.
Ooh.
Woo. Barely avoids that arrow. In comes Wildcard. I mean, they've got the vision. Nature's Wrath will fly through. Babetich, he will just pump fake the Rolling Thunder. See Thiuth making it very hard, hiding in that left side tree line. Wildcard immediately out of there. Lines being drawn back down towards the bottom side of the map. And why not, right? Like, if you can't push top lane, let's just push bot lane. No problem. Though they say that with those lines. Wildcard back into the Radiant Triangle. Thiuth see this. Smoke up, understanding exactly where they are. Lamy gonna jump into Flea, but he does leap away. Sammy's gone on the run. Snowball will connect, but a nice force stuff, and here comes Sunlight. Problem is they've got the BKBs with the overgrowth. He's gonna go right through them, so they've got 1 for 1 so far. It looks like Afro is gonna buy back. Meanwhile, 9 force staffing away. Sunlight now in danger. Lamy just chasing him down and taking him out. Can they do it with this Slark? He's taking so many stats away. Arc trying to fight back. He still has the Aegis up, but he needs a target to hit. They're all in this right now. Arc, he'll force stuff to the low ground, but it's not going to be enough. That'll be 1 life. Arc needs help, but they've got the lockdown. Lotus Orb, it'll buy him a little bit of time. He'll try for a TP play, but it's not enough either. And suddenly, the side of Thiuth fight back.
And they managed to find really everything. This is the big difference when you can drag in Lamy with that BKB. The Slark can do a lot of work with his own BKB. We're not at that level 20 spike yet for Arc, so he doesn't have that leash to kind of hold him back despite the spell immunity. And it just wasn't the ideal angle for Wildcard. Really good smoke play coming out from Thiuth. Wildcard had vision. They must have felt confident coming in, but they get punished severely. And the Aegis just doesn't give them much. They are still grouping around, playing tag, maybe looking for a counter fight. They do have to roll back up on Bapetich, so they could look for a pickoff play.
Arrow's not going to... Oh, it does land onto 9. Won't matter. They're not going to dive that deep for a CM. Seems like the side of Thiuth are the ones that want to apply the pressure now. They've got to be a little bit wary, though. Bot lane is being forced in by Arc. Those trains, very annoying, as you could just kind of leave them to do their job. That's kind of the thing. Like, even if you even out the game, you're against a Nature's Prophet. As the game goes later, he just gets more and more annoying. Still, Babetich still pump faking this Rolling Thunder.
It's a fun thing to do, you know. That sound effect is great. I'm surprised Sammy isn't just pump faking his overgrowth. Best base drop, along with, you know, Warlock Golem. Very satisfying to just animation cancel.
They'll try for the Mars. He will be forced to BKB, and it seems like that's all they wanted. Just force the BKB out, back out of there, maybe go for a smoke straight after, and at least, you know, the Mars is not going to have a good time in the next fight. We'll see, though. I mean, they are still very grouped up on the top side of the map here, Thiuth. Question is, what are they really doing here? I suppose trying to establish dominance in that dire jungle, but there's no Roshan to play for quite a while.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer. Maybe they feel like it's closer than it is because they killed off Arc really quick on those 2 lives. I mean, it's just not something you'd expect there for Wildcard. So, you're still in a good position for Wildcard. You're finding that farm. You're 5k up, 19 to 17. You are giving Thiuth angles back in. This timing for Lamey to get the Ags is massive. The double pounce, his mobility in these fights. He's already got the shard. With the depth shroud, he can save his team. And Napkin is now just doing what broodmothers love to do. Micro Alder creeps away with a tab and just get
Jump in. They've got Afro. That'll be the Skywrath, surely to drop, though he is making it life a little bit hard here for this Mars. He's almost down. Sunlight's trying to run. Barely makes it out. At the very least, they find 9 as well. Both supports going down here for Wildcard. 6k advantage their way. Issue is that Wildcard, or rather Thiuth, have bought enough time now that Lamey does have the Aghanim Scepter up. And that's a pretty big power spike for the Slug.
Yeah, it's massive. He's just going to be able to basically bypass most of your control, get around anywhere in these fights, jump the backline, jump onto Arc, focus in on the NP. At the least, Arc isn't too far off from the level 20 talent. So once that's up, you've got a little bit of counterplay with your own leash. Although, again, you can just kind of cut the tree line, maybe ask for a Force Staff, get pulled out, or even just get the snowball off from Esk, and it's not a big worry. Wildcard, though, smoked up. They've got the BKB back up on Sunlight, but no Arena. So it can be a little bit harder. And they're also checking Roche, which is still 2 minutes off from seeing that timer up.
It certainly is. Very long time away. Double damage room going to be scattered out down bot. I'll give that to Arc. The Arc. I thought they might have tried to bait Esk in with that. They won't bother though. Thing is, it's very hard to smoke against the Broodmother because you've got these damn spiderlings just completely scattering across the map. And it's like, if they're not in this jungle, then chances are they're smoked at the moment.
It's just lots of information coming out from Napkin now. And now Thiuth's the one to go for the smoke play. And they've still got this really good single target disable if they manage to bait out some early BKB uses here.
Well, Sammy's going to be in position to break the smoke. They'll get a ward down. The Treant does get caught out. Esk will be there, and that'll be 1. Wildcard, of course, naturally not going to want to fight now. 4v5, still back off immediately. And Thiuth, I mean, it is a 5-man smoke for just a position 5 Treant protector. Supposed to take what they can get for now. Trying even for a D ward out. Flea making it as hard as possible and eventually just denies it off. And in goes Sunlight. He does find Afro, and at least they find a trade for themselves. Babbage wanting a little bit more, does run into 9. Diffusal blade out. But Babbage, realizing maybe he's gone a bit too far, will back himself out of it.
Yeah, that's a pretty massive commitment out from Wildcard. BKB plus Arena down for Sunlight. You don't have those tools in the next team fight. You're going to have to rely on Sammy with Overgrowth. A lot harder to set up. But on the side of Thiuth, at least you don't have to worry about just the Skywrath Mage kind of ruining you. And you have stalled out long enough that you do have AC up and running. So you can have a... Oh.
Jump in. They have got Arc, but Arc or rather 9, is the one to drop. Napkin. They try to deal with the Nature's Prophet, but the problem is with the double damage rune, it's like not very safe to try for that.
Ah, the Sprout leash Napkin just walked right out under a web. It said leashed, but then he wasn't.
Okay.
Interesting.
No problem.
Yeah, so I guess this is not going to be as impactful this game, the Sprout leash.
You can't really leash a spider onto a tree, John. That's where they live.
Yeah, but, you know, it's well, maybe, you know what? You're right. Yeah, Australia has proven time and time and again, spiders live everywhere, man.
That's very true. Flea, mid lane. Going to be a sacrifice, I think, because they have the double pounce available. Flea will drop mid lane. Wildcard have grouped up without their Mirana. Even a Hex up now on Sunlight. Not something I was expecting here from the Mars, but why the hell not? Great lockdown, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what they need. They just need a solid way to catch out the Slark and then chain stun off the back of it. Or heck, even Napkin at this point. Or Esk. They're all sort of slippery and getting harder and harder to pin down.
I die jungle. Once again, a point of contention between these two teams. Still Thiuth. Hanging around that same area, both sides waiting for that next Roshan. 1 minute 15 seconds away for that Roshan to spawn up. Of course, you are probably going to have first dibs as Thiuth, considering you do have the Spiderlings to just throw in there. Arc can abuse the old treants. They do move in again. 1 minute left for Roshan now.
Oh.
Sunlight chipping away with the spear. Doesn't get caught out himself. Has his BKB available if he needs it. Line's being drawn out as well. It seems like they want to try and wrap around through that radiant triangle. Also a Basher now up and coming on Lamey, so that's on the courier. Be very, very annoying for the side of Wildcard if they do get bashed through that BKB. They'll see Lamey. Sammy, he'll get the info over. Lamey, oh, now should know he's spotted. Sight the Vice was there. Lock him down. Can they take him out? Arrow's going to land as well, but Lamey, he got the BKB off in time. It's not enough to burst him down in time, so Lamey can get right to work, but the Slark is dropping rather low now, leaping right back into that Mirana. They are still melting on the side of Thiuth, as this Slark is not being left alone and does go down. Flea will catch him. Sammy chasing for more. The Gleipnir will lock down 9, and that should be another. The Scythe of Vice already paying dividends for Sunlight, and Roshan is officially up.
Really good timing for Wildcard. Finding that massive fight, great Hex reveal. That's the mindset of it. You jump the Slark, you chain stun on top. He still manages to get some good spell use out, but he's low enough that it's just awkward. It's not the position he wants to find himself in. And with second Roche going the way of Wildcard, having that free shard on hand, you can just look for that siege. In fact, Sunlight just focuses on that siege mid as well, knowing that there can't be any counterfight that can come through. Inside of Wildcard, driver's seat once more. 21 to 26, 15k up after a little bit of an up and down game. They're sitting at 92% win probability now. Full Ags finally up on Bapitic, working onto the Basher next, so he's going to have a way to control them through those BKBs as well, which is going to be key if they don't manage to get that Blink Hex out from Sunlight. Thiuth, again, there is power left, but it's getting harder and harder to execute with all of these Dispels on hand. With how single target focused Thiuth's lineup is, it's not the easiest to kind of try to fight into these team fights.
Bottom, they'll try into Sunlight, but that snowball's not going to do them any favors. Esk's in the middle of nowhere right now. Who are they going on? Oh, they found the Arc. They do find the Archaeus. Sammy's now been caught out. Arc, he'll get to work with the leash onto the Slark. Arena down as well, but can they lock him through this BKB? Lamey's just going to walk right out of the arena, back onto that Nature's Prophet. They will take him out. That'll be 2 lives down for him. Sunlight now caught as well. That's going to be another. Thiuth are not out of this one yet. They want to keep this fight going.
Yeah, that's a bit dicey out from Wildcard. They didn't manage to initiate the way they'd want. They didn't manage to get that Hex combo off. And they played under really good vision from Thiuth. Arc just farming there does get punished. They still have that TP point in tier 2. They managed to swing around really well. That gives Thiuth a way back in. You know, this is the way they have to play. They've got to find these pick-off angles. They've got to catch Wildcard while they're not grouped up. They're not able to get the initiation they'd want. And Wildcard have to play as a unit. Every time they're kind of just going around, trying to farm up, trying to be efficient on the map, they can get punished really fast. And their lineup just doesn't enjoy being split apart like that. They fall one by one in those scenarios.
That they do. So that tier 1 mid tower stands. It's very annoying against a Train Protector. Arrow does land, but the Dark Pact was going for Lamey, so he'll be just fine to purge it off. In goes Esk, trying to find this annoying Treant. 4 staffs away, but a kick right back to the same spot for Sammy Boy.
I mean, they can play football now. They've had that Ags up on Esk. It's been massive in repositioning Arc, especially. They've even got a Basher fully up on Napkin, so the BKBs are still important for Wildcard, but means less and less. They've got to be able to just get control first in these fights. They have to be the ones in the initiative on Wildcard's end.
Jump in, Counts is there, Flea will force stuff away. Sunlight trying to go for the arena, but the BKB is there, still the Sprout through the leash. It's very, very annoying. They're onto the Tusk now. That'll be Escon. Lamey still stacking up those stats, but both supports dropping to Babitic. And Napkin's gonna run. The Spider is not safe. Arc is the bug spray. And they've locked him down to the tree line. There's your leash. Triple kill for Babidich, the only survivor to beat Lamy on the Slark. And with that, Wildcard, they'll go for a bit of a push.
Yeah, they can apply pressure now. It's a little bit risky to look for something like high ground, but the tier 2s certainly are open.
Keeping right into Lamy, almost hoping, I suppose, that Lamy makes a pounce in. Trying to bait him forward. It is only Lamy alive right now, so he can't afford to do so. See if he tries to defend this on his own. He does show. Leash is there. Sunlight will show up. They do stun him up. Arrow to land to boot, but that depth throughout being very annoying. It just won't matter. Uh-oh. Problems here for Thiuth.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit tough. They have buyback if need be.
They even found the CM. 9 immediately back to the grave. And that should be 1 lane of barracks at the very least for Wildcard, maybe even 2. They can't go for Megas. There is still a tier 2 tower at the top lane, but it should set them up for a very strong advantage.
Oh yeah. Now they're going to feel a lot more secure. Wave clear, you can kind of get that done on Thiuth, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But they're really trying to hold off on that buyback for Lamy, which is fair. Hold on.
Here we go again. Side device out. Esker's being caught. The Tusk, they don't want to lose him straight away. The Depth Shroud will protect for now. And Wildcard seem like they want to back off, but Lamy, he's going to make a jump in. There's that leash again. Arc holds him down. Arc forces the BKB out. S, he snowballed back in. Now the overgrowth. Sammy holding them all down. Lamy's going to run. Meanwhile, Afro's been caught out. This is not looking good whatsoever for Thiuth. As Wildcard, they've got 3 down. They might just go right for T4s here. Afro's going to commit the buyback, but there are none other left for the side of Thiuth. It's a 3v5 scenario. I don't see how you can fight this one out. Sunlight, he'll jump forward, but they have the Lotus. They'll purge off the silence. Tier 4's going down. Wildcard have had enough of this game. A final smoke from Thiuth. They might try one more time. Glyph out. Surely they can't buy enough time for their Tusk to be back up. They'll wrap around, but who do they want first? It'll be Sunlight with the sight, the Vice. Right away on Lamy. Freezing Field is there doing a fair bit of damage. Sunlight still on the run, but Arc, he takes down Afro for the tieback. They've got 9 as well. That'll be a secondary tieback. They find the Mars, but what does it matter? Ancient is exposed. It's all over. It is all over. Arc takes care of it. And that'll be a 2-0 victory here for Wildcard. I mean, a nice attempt from Thiuth.